Well, good afternoon, and welcome to Tippy College's webinar on resources at your fingertips, helpful tips from the Pomerantz Business Librarians. My name is Adam McLaughlin, and I'm the Director of Alumni Engagement here at the Tippy College of Business. It's my great pleasure to coordinate today's session and to speak with you all. Before we jump into the main topic, I'd like to highlight two upcoming webinars to kick off the new year in 2025. The first webinar will be on Wednesday, January 22nd at noon, which is the third installment of our entrepreneurial series. The webinar is titled Financing Your Startup, and our panelists will provide insight on how entrepreneurs can secure funds for their next business, as well as how you might look to exit when you're ready to exit the strategy. Our next webinar will take place on Wednesday, February 26th at noon, and that webinar is titled Using Artificial Intelligence in Your Job Search. As many of you know, a lot of companies are using AI to sift through hundreds of resumes. But how can a job seeker use AI tools to improve their materials and stand out from the crowd? Be sure to tune into that webinar to learn more about it. I will drop registration links in the chat shortly for those two webinars. Another item to note is that today's session is being recorded and will be available on the Tippy College's Alumni Resources page, as well as on our YouTube channel. You will also find recordings of past webinars there, all of which are free and open to the public, so feel free to share that information with others. Now, with all the housekeeping out of the way, let's dive into today's topic. Today's topic is resources at your fingertips, helpful tips from the Pomerantz Business Librarians. Our featured speakers are Kim Bloedel, the director of the Pomerantz Business Library, and librarian Willow Fuchs. They will guide us through a wide range of resources available at the Pomerantz Library, showcasing tools for entertainment, consumer shopping, and startup businesses. We will have time for questions at the end of our discussion, so please feel free to use the Q&A button at the bottom of your screen if you have any questions, and feel free to use the chat to communicate with us. Now that that's all out of the way, I'll hand things over to Kim. Take it away, Kim.
Okay, thank you, Adam. And thank you, everyone, for joining us today. Both Willow and I are really excited to share library services with you. As Adam mentioned, Willow, could you go to the second slide, please? As Adam mentioned, we are business librarians at the Pomerantz Business Library. The business library is located on campus, on the University of Iowa campus, in the Papa John building on the third floor. So we have a newly renovated space, and it is a pleasure to work in such a beautiful space. So as business librarians, we help our community find company information, industry and market research reports, global business information, and statistics and data. Next slide, please, Willow. So the Business Library was established in 1950, and we moved into the Phillips Hall in the 60s, where the College of Business was located. And on this screen, you can see a picture of Phillips Hall on the left-hand side of the screen, a student at the desk. In the pictures in black and white. And the other remaining two photos are how the library looked in the mid-2000s when we were in the Papa John building. So when the College of Business moved from Phillips Hall, the library moved with the College of Business into the Papa John building. And the photos in the center and on the right are what the library looked like at that time. And we had, as you can see, we had books and we had print periodicals. Willow, will you go to the next slide, please? But in 2018, we redesigned our space with a focus on supporting student success and in providing a space that was for collaboration. So we moved our books to the University of Iowa Library storage facility so we could open up our space so students would have more seating and more group study rooms that would help them succeed within their classes and their studies. And so if you think back to that previous slide and you saw the book stacks, which one of the photos of the book stacks, if you look at the center photo here, that is the area where our book stacks were located. And so we removed those books and created a quiet study space on our second floor. And then on the main floor, we have the Biz Hub, which is our collaboration space. So we have a space that is well suited to support a variety of study sessions, so quiet study and group study sessions. And next slide, please. So we moved our book collection to storage, and we've really been focusing on our online collection, on curating a collection that supports teaching, learning, and research. And so we have to really have a very focused a website. As you can see here, this is our Pomerantz Business Library website. We've tried to design this website so people could get to the information that they need quickly or at their fingertips. So if you look in the section, the midsection on the screenshot, you'll see selected resources. And so you could quickly go to a list of ebooks, recent ebooks that we've acquired. We have a collection of online journals, and we have a link underneath the ebooks to our e-journal list. And if you move over to the right a little bit, you can see our database list. And we have a collection of databases that focus on business and economics. And then further down on our website, we have some larger boxes. And these are hyperlinks, so you could click on those and find information or resources that provide company information, industry and market research information, and global business information. Now, this is the Business Library webpage. We are part of a larger library system at the University of Iowa. Each of our library location has their own website. And if you're interested in learning more of what we have for all disciplines, you can visit the UI Library's main website to find curated lists there. Next slide, Willow. Thank you. So as business librarians, Willow and I, of course, have our favorite sources for business information, and we tend to recommend some of the same sources for our users. And we're showcasing that here on the on this screenshot on the slide. And some of you may be familiar with some of these sources, and you may recognize some names. So for example, we subscribe to a number of Standard & Poor's databases, and we're highlighting S&P Global Net Advantage, which is a company information site, and it provides industry analysis as well. And then we're also highlighting a product by Dow Jones, who is an information provider as well that you may be familiar with, called Factiva, and that is a global news database that covers newspapers and trade magazines. You can find articles from newspapers and trade magazines from around the world. And today I'm going to highlight, in my section for business research, I'm going to highlight two sources featured here, Statista and Data Axle. And the reason why I chose those is sometimes we have some crossover with public library collections, so you may find those in your local public library as well. Next slide, please. So at the Business Library, we have over 100 business databases that we have in our collection. And just like we maintain a database collection or an online collection, public libraries also maintain an online collection. And here I'm highlighting the Coralville Public Libraries are part of their digital collection. And what's noteworthy for me here is that their newspaper databases or access to their newspapers, it just seems that they have a lot of sources for that type of content. And if you look in the upper right, they have a newspaper archive that you can search for historical content. They have access to the New York Times, so you could use their subscription rather than pay for your own. On the left-hand side, you have more information from America's News, more newspaper content. And then you'll see that they also have some business databases, and one that I just mentioned, Data Axle, which is a company information database, that is in their collection. And then they also have access to some investment research analysis. So if you're interested in learning more about your investments, you can access that through Morningstar Investment Research Center. And then another site that allows you to look at investment research reports is a value line, which they also have access to. So really great content, from that you could take advantage from your public library. So definitely want to see what's available from your local public libraries. Next slide, please. So, and that's really why we're here today. So we were invited to talk about how to connect with your library, either your academic library, if you're part of the a university or the University of Iowa, you could use our resources, or your local public library. So all libraries are really working on their digital content, so you can access these materials, within the library or from home. So, and today we're going to talk about sources that you could use for media and entertainment. So you can stream films or TV shows. You can learn new skills through some databases that offer online learning content. You could find information on consumer products through magazine reviews. And then finally, we'll wrap it up and talk a little bit about business research and what we have available here at the University of Iowa Business Library and what may be available at your local public library. Next slide, please. So what do you need to access these materials? So, well, you'll need your library card, and I'm sure most of our attendees have a library card. So you're probably using the online content already. So fingers crossed. But so here I'm showcasing the Iowa City Public Library card, which I have. And then I use my number to access their online content. So if I'm interested in reading consumer reports, I would, go to the Iowa City Public Library, be presented with the login screen on your right here that I'm showing, and then enter my library card and then my password. So you can easily set up, once you have a library card, you can set up an account for accessing online content. Now, if you're a member of the University of Iowa community and you want to use our library resources, all you need are your Hawk ID and password credentials, and then you can access many of our resources from home or on campus. So I just want to mention that if you're a community member or an alumni, we do offer services for community members and alumni, and I'll talk about that a little bit at the end of our session today. So stay tuned on that. So next slide, Willow. So this is a recent add to our presentation because I stumbled upon this during the long Thanksgiving holiday weekend, and it was a Iowa City Public Library post on their social media highlighting on one of the biggest shopping days of the season that they have the best deals at their library and that you can use your library card and access items for free online. And I just thought that is such a great ad. It's so cool, and I had to include it here. So, and it is, so much available at our public libraries and our academic libraries. And here, of course, they're highlighting, how that you can access ebooks and audiobooks through an app called Libby. So, which is pretty cool. And but you can also access, of course, media and entertainment, which brings us to our next topic, which Willow is going to discuss. So Willow, do you want to go to the next slide? So I'm going to turn it over to Willow so she can highlight resources for media and entertainment for you. So thank you, Willow.
Thanks, Kim. Hi, everybody. Yeah, so I'm going to talk about media and entertainment. And as Kim mentioned, this is mostly focusing on what you're going to find at your local public library. A lot of these resources are fairly commonly found at public libraries. And so we're going to dive in this part. It's kind of fun to take a look at some of the access that we all have. So I'm going to talk briefly about Iowa Digital Library, which is something that the U Iowa has to offer. And then we're going to talk a little bit about newspapers and magazines, and then go into videos, music, ebooks, and some of the specific resources that are available, and then briefly look at podcasts as well. So Iowa Digital Library is a U Iowa resource, and it really is a collection of digitized objects, we would call it. But it has all kinds of different things. So things like manuscripts, historic maps. It has artwork that's been digitized and things like old newspapers. So all different types of content. And it really is just kind of a fun thing to take a look at if you have some time. So one thing that I find that's really cool in it, if you take a look here, you can see all the different kind of collections that they have. So they have an African American women in Iowa digital collection. They have an anthropology at Iowa. So all different types of things. You really do have to kind of look through and see what you can find, but you can really get lost just looking through. It's really amazing. But one thing that's also really cool is that they do have old yearbooks. So I think if you're an alum, it's really cool to take a look and see if you can, find yourself or find someone you know in one of the old yearbooks. So here is, a shot of some old football photos. And then the next page here we have is actually some, student photos. I don't remember what year this one was from that I grabbed it from. I imagine it looks like it's like 70s or 80s maybe. But yeah, you can look at some old yearbooks and, look at student photos and things, which is a pretty fun thing to do. So take a look at the Iowa Digital Archive if you have a time sometime. So moving on, we're going to talk a little bit about newspapers and magazines. And we like to share this information because I don't think that people realize that public libraries, and also the U Iowa has them as well, has digital access. So like access to the website version of these newspapers. Which is really awesome, right? So people often subscribe and pay for these, right? Because you want to have the New York Times on your phone. You want that easy, quick access, and people don't realize that you don't have to be paying for that, right? We do have free access, and so it's kind of just an awesome thing. Whenever I tell people that, they're like kind of amazed. They're like, "What? I've been paying for this, and I didn't realize I didn't need to be." So here is an example of the New York Times. So what you do is you go to your public library, or the U Iowa has access as well, and you would put in some, log in, and then you put in they give you a code and you get access. So sometimes with the public libraries, the access is short term, so it might only be like 3 days or 7 days, but you can do it indefinitely. So you just log in again, right? Put in another code. But the U Iowa access is longer term. I think it might be like 3 to 6 months. So it's just like amazing, right? Like having New York Times on your phone, that full web access is really awesome, and it's a great thing that libraries provide. So moving on again, we're going to talk a little bit about video, music, and ebooks. And this is like, again, like I don't think people always realize what public libraries specifically offer in this area. We think about books, right? And I use my public library heavily, just taking out books. But the access to ebooks and then video and music as well is really amazing. So first off, there's this Libby, which you can have as an app. It has books and audiobooks and magazines, but I'm highlighting the magazine section here, which is kind of awesome, right? Because magazines is something that like some people spend money on subscribing to, or I mean, I feel like that was definitely more common that people used to do, but you have access to tons of magazines from your public library. So here you can see there's the New Yorker or Us Magazine or New Scientist, right? These are just a few examples. And they're great because if you have a tablet, you can look at them on your tablet, right? And they just look like this. They look like the magazine and you can page through. So if it's something that you're like, oh, I want to take a look at that magazine, or someone has passed on some article they've talked about, you can take a look, and it's free just through your public library. So another great thing. Hoopla is another one that a lot of public libraries have these days. So this is, again, an example from Iowa City, but it's very common at public libraries. And this one has, movies, and I think other series and stuff as well. And so this, all of these are kind of examples, like if you want to save money because maybe you're spending a lot of money on Netflix and Disney Plus and all of these other, streaming services that we have, you can look to see what the public library has instead. And sometimes the content is overlapping. Sometimes they have different content as well. So it's just a great thing to take a look at. So here are some movies that Hoopla has. Hoopla also has popular music, or they have music, and a lot of popular music, which I think is such a great thing. So again, if you're a Spotify person, but maybe maybe it's time to save some money, right? So you can, with all of these, you can download these albums. I think you get them for about 7 days. So you can download them onto your phone, right? You can play them from in your car on your speakers or whatever. That's what we've been doing lately. And it's just like another, free access. Or, you just want to, maybe you don't, not sure if you want to buy the new album of somebody, right? But you can let's take a listen first. So again, awesome service, Hoopla, offered by most public libraries. It's really great. So here's another one that people might be familiar with, but this one is called Canopy. And so a lot of public libraries have it. Also, the University of Iowa has access to it as well. Lots of great content. So you can see there's lots of documentaries. This has lots of content from the BBC, for example. So super great. Again, some content is going to be overlapping with something like Netflix, but then there's a lot of different content as well. And again, another amazing free service provided by public libraries. I just wanted to mention briefly the idea of podcasts. So again, if you're looking for some entertainment, podcasts are great, right? And there are so many out there, but there actually are a number that are produced specifically by libraries, and they have some different type of content, right? So some of these talk about different books, which is really cool, and then other things that are happening in libraries, and then all different types of things. But just wanted to point out that libraries are also producing podcasts as well. Okay, so now I'm going to move on to the idea of learning from your public library, and I think the media and entertainment part is great and useful and amazing, but thinking about learning from your public library is a great thing too. So first off, we're going to start from, so this is not at your fingertips because this is something you'd have to go to in person, but in-person events are something that public libraries do really well. And they are always doing them, right? Because they're trying to connect with communities and connect communities together. And they're doing, one thing that's really important to libraries is teaching people about technology. And so you can see on the left here, this is examples from the Des Moines Public Library, but they have a technology basics workshop. And they have a writer's workshop, and then they have, classes about babies. And then on the right here is these are kind of upcoming ones from the Iowa City Public Library, right? So they, again, have some things about, they have a digital media lab help hours, but then they have make a calendar in Canva. And then they also have a bunch of things that are focused more for kids, right? So going in person to your public library, going to the events is a great way to, connect with your community, great way to learn something new, and also just a great way to learn more about what's happening at the library and, how to use the tools that are available. So for example, the Digital Media Lab is a resource center area specifically at the Iowa City Public Library, but a lot of public libraries are doing these type of things now. You might have heard the term makerspace. And so a lot of public libraries have these spaces, and they provide, different tools for things like, you can see examples here of photo editing or creating a movie or digitizing your VHS or cassette tapes, right? Things like scanning. They have 3D printing, and they have a Cricut, and all of these really cool things. And they will, they have open hours to help you with these as well, right? So if you're thinking oh, I would like to learn more, I'm thinking about getting into one of these things, you can go explore these at your public library first, right? It's a really great way to get experience and to learn something new. So now I'm going to move on to some of more of the online resources. And these, again, are the ones that are very typically found at public libraries. These are very, very common and really great. So the first one, Kim mentioned it before, consumer reports. I always, again, think people are really surprised to realize that most public libraries will provide full access to consumer reports. And I will say that the public library access is actually better than what the U Iowa has access to. So we have different license agreements, but the one that at the university is a little bit more clunky. It's hard to get to all of the materials within consumer reports, but the UI or the public library one has the full access to all of the ratings, and that's what you really want, right? So when you're looking to buy a new car or looking to buy a new dishwasher or whatever new thing you need, you can get to these full ratings, right? And so the public library access is like really easy, and you can, click on the left-hand side there and pick what you need, and you can see the full, road test score and all of that information. And it's, yeah, super quick and easy to get access to. So super great tool that, again, public libraries are providing access to this really regularly. So it's really great. Another one that I think people are aware that public libraries, I think there's a connection between ancestry and public libraries, but it is one that public libraries and the University of Iowa also has access to. Sometimes you have to go in person, sometimes they have online access depending on the library. But again, if you want to learn about your family history, if you want to create a family tree, if you have you want to explore some of that, this is a great tool, again, that's freely available to you. So I did a search for my grandfather as on the left there, and I can quickly see his birth date and his mother and father, so I have that information immediately, and then you can keep going, keep searching for those people, and easily create a family tree, right? So again, just another great tool that public libraries are providing. So here's another one. This is kind of a newer one that's been developed, in the last, I don't know, last year's LinkedIn Learning. You might be familiar with it. So this is very commonly at public libraries and available online. And also the University of Iowa has a subscription as well. But a great, great place to learn something new. So I took a look through. This is the leadership and management section. So it's these short courses that are usually, you can see from like 15 to 25 minutes long. There's some that are longer, and learn about something new. But there's so much in here. There's things about Excel. So if you want to learn all about pivot tables, you can go in there. They have things about Photoshop. They have design courses. There's a lot about Microsoft Teams. So if you want to learn more about some of these type of things, you can come in here and take a look. And they're it's just great. They're really well done too, right? The little courses. So don't forget about LinkedIn Learning as an option. Again, so available from the university or available from most public libraries. Another one that I think is kind of amazing and a good one to point out is that most public libraries have access to Mango languages. So if one of the things you want to learn is a new language, this is a great way to do it. It's very much similar to something like Duolingo. So they have lots of different languages to choose from. They go through and there's like all these different lessons. And it saves your place. So you can come back the next day, do 10 minutes each day and work on a new language. So again, this is very common for public libraries to offer. And again, a great way to learn something new, right? It's always great to learn a new language. So this is one of the last ones here that I wanted to show, and this is at Iowa City Public Library. I don't know if it's as common at other libraries, but it's just so cool that I needed to point it out. So this one is called Creative Bug, and it's online courses, but it's all about crafting. So I just think that's like what a great thing. There's these online videos. Here's one of the examples. So it's watercolor painting in the garden, and it's just this course that you can work your way through about watercolor painting. And there's things about like crochet and knitting and all kinds of different things. But again, a great way to learn a new skill with these videos that are provided for us. So super cool. One of the other last things I wanted to, this is again is more of an in-person thing, but this is an example from the Des Moines Public Library, but it is becoming more common at lots of different libraries. And so it's checking out, rather than books, there's checking out things. So there's all different types of items that they are willing to check out to you, so that if you just need something temporarily, maybe you need a tool, maybe you need something for home improvement, they have board games, you can check these out and take these home. There's some other examples we were talking about before. Here on campus, the engineering library has a tool library, so that's specifically for I mean, it's very heavily used by students, but U Iowa associated people can use the tool library. At the business library here, we do check out a lot of charging cords for phones, because that's what students need. We talked about the North Liberty Public Library has a cake pan library, which is again kind of a really neat one. So I would say take a look at your local public library and see if they offer something like this, because it's kind of a neat one. Okay, so I'm going to pass it back to Kim now for business research.
Okay, thank you, Willow. Thank you. So yes, I'm here to talk about business research sources, and I'm going to highlight for sources for small business. I'm going to highlight Data Axle, which I mentioned earlier. Data Axle formerly was named Reference USA, so you may be familiar with that name. Data Axle is a company information site focused on the US companies, and it offers brief information on public and private companies. So when I say brief, I mean more like a directory type information. So, you know, phone number and location information. They may have, you know, some financials, but that's pretty limited. And then they also have industry codes assigned to the companies. I'm also going to highlight Statista, which is one of my favorite sources. It is all things statistics. So I'm going to show you that site. And then I'm going to wrap up the business research section by highlighting sources and research guides for personal finance information. Next slide, please, Willow. Okay, so here we are in Data Axle. Data Axle has actually been around for a long time and is a long-time provider for business information, and you can find it at public libraries. We did see it in the earlier in the slide presentation in the Coralville Public Library collection. And I tend to use the advanced searching in Data Axle more than single company searching. And the reason why I use the advanced search is that it allows list creation. So a lot of times our clients or business information patrons are coming to us. You know, they may be starting a business or relocating a business, and they want to get to know a specific area. So they may want to generate a list of companies by criteria. So here on this particular screen, I did a search on restaurants. I was looking for restaurants in Iowa City. I wanted to see who were the key players or what companies were in this particular industry. And so if you look on the left, I am filtering by industry in the center. And then on the right, I generated the list. So filtered by industry and location. So there's a variety of other filters that you can use. You can filter by square footage of an establishment. You can filter by number of employees, sales volume. And again, this may give a company an idea of where to relocate their business or where to start a business, or if they're a supplier, they may be able to generate a list of companies to contact. Next slide, Willow. So this is another module within Data Axle, and it allows for visualization of results on a map. So Data Axle was one of the first business information databases that allowed this capabilities, this visualization capability. We have several others now in our collection, but it is pretty cool that you could, you know, generate a search. And I think this one's focusing on Sioux City, and you could map out businesses within Sioux City by location, or you could do sales volume, or you could do by number of employees. And then you could even add points of interest. So let's say you're a business and you want to relocate to Sioux City. You may want to locate your restaurant near, I don't know, a hospital. So hospital employees can come visit you during their lunch hour or something like that. So you might want to see, you know, what's around that area or for relocating. It's just really a great site, and I use it a lot for with the students, so to visualize, because oftentimes our students are working with businesses from around the state or in the US, and they may have a specific project, so they're doing a consulting project, and so they have specific questions to answer, and sometimes they are looking at, you know, moving a business to a new location, and so the students will look to see if it's feasible. All right, next slide. So this is Statista. And again, I can't say how much I love Statista. I mean, I'll just continue to always say it. I guess that's what I want to. It is my favorite site. It is the site that I go to for quick data and statistics. So if I need a stat, I will always start with Statista. And what's important to be aware of with Statista is that it has a free content. So if you're doing a Google search, you may stumble upon Statista in your results and be able to freely access information within Statista. But they also have a subscription side, and we subscribe to most of the content that you can get from Statista. We use Statista for answering business type questions. It helps us find information on consumer behavior. We could find market trends or expenditures for specific products. A lot of business stats, economic stats, but you can also find health-related stats. And so what Statista is doing is it's pulling a lot of its content from that's collected by trade associations, government organizations, market research firms, and they're putting all that data in one spot. Next slide, Willow. So this is what search results look like in Statista. And for this search, I did a search for pets. So I was interested in learning more about the pet industry or market, sort of thinking about if I owned a pet store, what sort of information would I like to know? I would like to know more about pet ownership. What are the trends within pet ownership? And Statista has facts and statistics on pet ownership, as you can see on the left-hand side in the results list. I also may want to know pet industry expenditures, maybe by product. And if you look further down on the left-hand side of the screen, there's a chart for U.S. pet industry expenditures you can track it from 1994 to 2024. And then on the right, I'm highlighting, if we were to click into one of those charts, what would it look like? And on the right, is a chart that was from like a consumer behavior survey, asking where did you purchase pet food for your pet most recently? And we get a lot of information. And if I were, a pet boutique, I'd be interested in that pet specialty section of those survey results. Really thinking about who is my consumer and what, how do I meet their needs? Okay, next slide, Willow. And then this is just continuing, that search. If I were in the pet industry, I may want to be aware of, market sales by category. And Statista offered this chart where you can see market sales by category 2018 to 2023. And in this particular instance, we can see that food and treat seems to have the largest, most sales within of all the categories listed. And then one thing that we do quite a bit with students is really want them to be aware of where the information is coming from and who's collecting this data and how recent is the data. And we can see on the right side of the screen the source of the data. And so I will often point that out to students as they're working on their projects. Not only for awareness of where the information is coming, but also let's say we want 2024 data, and that's not in Statista yet for this particular chart. We may go to the source and see if they have any more recent information. Next slide. And then moving on to our next topic, personal finance resources at your library. This doesn't come up a lot for us as academic business researchers, but occasionally we do get questions and make referrals to public libraries or even to our personal financial literacy guide, which we created specifically for Financial Literacy Week, which often is in spring every year. And so this is a curated guide of sources. And on the screenshot, you can see that we're highlighting sources that provide information on how to be aware of scams or techniques for identity theft. So we've provided a list that looks mostly like of government sources that would help you in those situations or to learn more about that. And next slide, Willow. And then just to think about public libraries also create research guides on particular topics. And here we have Boston Public Library's guide on managing your money for beginners. And they too are curating a set of links that can help you become more knowledgeable on, personal finances or financial literacy. And you can search through this guide by topic and be directed to sources that were selected by librarians for reputation, and learn more about your particular topic. And next slide. So, and just to give another shout out for LinkedIn Learning, which is one of my favorite sites that I use the University of Iowa subscription quite often. LinkedIn Learning offers all these great courses on managing your finances. So I did a quick search in LinkedIn Learning the other day and found these, and I thought I would share. So you can see here there are three top courses that came up that are fairly recent that you could jump into anytime and learn some new skills for managing your money. And again, some public libraries subscribe to LinkedIn Learning. So if you don't have access to Iowa subscription, you could check out your public library subscription. And next slide. And then to wrap it up with personal finance resource, Morningstar Investment Center is a resource that you can use to learn more about your investments, individual stock analysis, performance analysis, information on mutual funds and exchange traded funds. So most public libraries subscribe to Morningstar Investment Center or a similar product such as Value Line or Standard & Poor's Net Advantage. We do not subscribe here at University of Iowa. We have access to some other sources that provide information, personal finance information that includes a lot of the content that we may see in Morningstar or similar content. And next slide. And then finally, to wrap up, I had mentioned earlier that I was going to conclude the session with a little bit of information on how community members or alumni can access our resources. So if you are living in the state of Iowa, you're welcome to visit the library and use our materials. We will provide library cards for you, or we call them borrower's permits, community borrower's permits. And then if you can use our databases and search our databases on site. On this particular web page that we have, if you're off site, if you click into that database square or learn more from that database link section, you will see a curated list of open source databases that are available to people, so you could gain access to sources that provide articles or I think we also link to our Iowa Research Online, which is our publication archive for all our faculty. So you could look at that to find articles on topics. So just a variety of databases, open source databases are accessible through this library resources for alumni guide. And then we also have, if you are coming to visit us, we have a section that will tell you where to park, what events we're having going on at the libraries, and more information about our collections and spaces, so you can plan out your visit. And then more importantly, we have a section on how to get research help. So we are here to help you. I actually like to hear from our community members and alumni. So feel free to reach out if you have a question and you need help or research assistance. Willow and I are both happy to help. And if we're unable to answer your question, we may connect you with one of our other subject specialists or other subject librarians on campus to make sure that you get the information or assistance that you need. In a lot of cases, we do refer people to their public library. So we may go the extra step and actually look up a library in your area and say, it looks like that library has Morningstar. So you could use your public library card and gain access to a report within Morningstar. So after today's session, if you have any questions, just feel free to reach out. We're very happy to help. And next slide. And we're at our questions section. So if you have questions now, we'll be happy to take them.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Kim, and thank you, Willow. That was a really great discussion of all the resources that are out there. I actually do have a few questions that folks have submitted. The first one being there were some folks that were wondering if they wanted to donate resources to our business library. How would that work if they wanted to donate books or any other kind of resource?
Well, for books, you can contact me and I would outline the process. So usually some people come right to the business library and drop off books, and then I will take them over to our acquisitions department at Maine, and then they would do the processing.
Okay, perfect. Earlier in our conversation, we talked a little bit about languages. Can you talk about the multilingual resources that might be available besides just language resources? Do we have different types of resources out there for those that may speak different languages?
Well, a lot of the resources that we have through the university, there is like an option you can change the language preference within it. And then like with the University of Iowa, and I think a lot of public libraries now too are trying very hard to collect more in different languages to support surrounding communities. So I would definitely say like check with your public library to see what they have, because often they will have books and other materials available in different languages. And I know that the university is doing the same.
Perfect. Thank you, Willow. Another question came up. Does a borrower's permit allow access to the various resources identified like Libby, Hoopla, etc.?
So those like Libby and Hoopla are typically at public libraries, and you will typically find them at any public library. The University of Iowa also has Libby, but so yeah, a temporary borrow card, I think maybe you could set it up temporarily, but I would think if you want to use it long term, you'd want to probably, if you're not a U Iowa staff or faculty or student, then you would want to check out your public library and see what they have to offer for that.
Thank you, Willow. And then a really good question. If I live in one town, can I access the collection of libraries in a different town?
I would say that depends. Some of them have kind of a reciprocal borrowing arrangement, so that like within Iowa City and like North Liberty and Coralville, they will let you get they'll let you get a library card at that other library, and so you can use the resources. And I think that's part of it is because a lot of the materials are like Johnson County. So I think often counties will allow that, but you would have to probably check with your local public library. I mean, a lot of universities do it too, right? We do like interlibrary loan. There's a lot of sharing that goes on, but you'd want to check out what's happening locally for you.
Perfect. Well, that looks like all the questions that we have right now, Kim and Willow. So I want to give you guys a big thank you for today's excellent presentation. You guys did a fabulous job, and it was very, very insightful. So I do want to remind our viewers that this webinar is being recorded, and it is available on the Tippie College website under Alumni Resources page, as well as our YouTube channel. And right after we close out this webinar, you'll see a brief survey that'll pop up in the browser. We'd greatly appreciate it if you take a moment to share feedback with us to help us enhance our future programs. So on behalf of the Tippie College, again, I want to thank you all for joining us today. Thank you to Kim and thank you to Willow. And as always, go Hawks.